is not going to be a long video, but you actually, it might. I don't know yet. Got my coffee, got my ambiance going, and this did take a little second to set up, so don't mind me if I continue to get comfortable as we go on. But this live stream has been in the works and in the making for over 2 weeks. I actually honestly kind of forgot about it, but here we are. I'm actually getting ready to do a reading, so I may shuffle a little bit, just shuffling my cards, getting them ready. But this video is all about the 12th house in astrology. Ooh, lips, teeth, tip of the tongue. And how that affects you, what it means, and just a little bit of like a description of maybe some signs or planets, possibly. But we'll get there. So overall, oh, sorry. Told me to start from the beginning. I'm glad I looked. Hey, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you're returning. If you're new, hey, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you can keep up with your boy. I'm a Capricorn, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, Pisces, Rising. And so I have a little bit of like firsthand experience with the 12th house, which is Pisces themed. No matter what sign you have in that house, it's traditionally the sign of Pisces. So anything in that house usually has a vibe of Pisces associated with it. But yeah, also if you're new to astrology, I'm gonna, like, this video, I'm trying to keep everything like as simple as possible, but when it comes to like the houses of astrology, right, in order to know accurately what your houses are, where they lie, and what signs are in them, you actually have to have a natal chart done, which you have to have your birth time for, your birthplace, your birthday. But the 12th house is literally the last house on the zodiac wheel. And it determines a lot of things that we don't really see or express or participate in, like in our everyday conscious awareness and selves. Like, if the first house is your actual physical self, your personality, right? That's where everything starts. Your 7th house is your other side. It could be your other half, because that the 7th house is the house of relationships, right? The 12th house is like the karma, it's really like the energy that's like, the way I kind of pictured it just now, like I just had a flash of something. The 12th house is like where all the energy is left, or the energy that is left over from all the living parts of your life, like in a like 3D way, on a day-to-day basis. It's like if your first house is you just waking up for the day, getting everything together, going through the day, the 7th house would be midday. Like the 4th house would probably be like noon. The 10th house would be going into the evening. And all of those processes associated with that. 11th house is like the house of dreams. So that's like very much towards the end of the whole cycle. And I'm looking at this as like a 24-hour cycle right now. But the 12th house then is, I almost wanted to say nightmares, because if the 11th house is dreams, the 12th house would be nightmares, but it's not. It's the doorway, it's the pathway, it's the dimensions. It is typically talked about as like isolation, spirituality, psychic abilities, the other side. Also, institutions, like prisons, psychiatric wards, like feeling separate from everything. It's a very hard like house to really describe and pinpoint down, very similarly to like the eighth house. But where like the eighth house is things unseen and mysteries under the surface, those are things that are more easily accessible. Those like mystery just means, something that you haven't put your attention on and brought awareness and light to. So a lot of things are easily uncovered when it comes to the eighth house when you just do a little bit of digging. The 12th house is a little weirder. Like, the 12th house is like those philosophical existential questions that we ask that we never really get answers to. Like, why are we here? What is the purpose? Like, what's on the other side? What are the forces that be that govern everything? And how does that affect me? And why do I feel these things? It's in a lot of ways like the Akashic records. Excuse me, I'm thinking about it also, but separating my knowledge of my chart from my knowledge of this house. It can be a very eclectic, watery type house. Again, regardless of the house, regardless of the sign or the planets within it, this is a watery area of life. It's swimming through the wave pool with your eyes closed, right? Just feeling through everything, feeling as though you're a part of everything because you can't see the separation between you and other things. If you are like a Pisces rising, a 12th house dominant, or like you have planets in the 12th house that are very close to your ascendant, this is a house where you actually like, these are aspects where you can actually see these things play out in your personality, in your everyday. Like when you wake up, like you're a little more tapped into where you were in that non-sleep, well, not that non-dream sleep phase, right? I think that's a good way to describe it. The Pisces house is, after the house of dreams, just the house of all and nothing. It's a void, but you're still asleep. And it's like, where does your body go? Where does your soul and spirit and energy and essence go in those moments where you're not with your body, but you still exist, you still are, you're still a being? I'm probably not gonna actually want to do some like scripting on this. Oh wow. Divination can be a huge thing with this house, and depending on the sign that it is, definitely gives you a flavor of like your internal underlying programming. Those things that you probably, were instilled with as a child that you never really gave much focus to, because at the time of learning it, it was just something that you were learning that, brought sense and distinction to all the parts of your physical life that, helped you to see the world as it is. But as you grow and get, more experiences, more knowledge, more awareness and insight, you start to see what the programming was, if it's applicable, how beneficial it is to you in your life and at that situation. And in a lot of ways, it determines, well, not determines, but can add or take away from, and this is just the way I see it, but your self-confidence, your attitudes about yourself, because the 12th house, again, is like those lessons you were instilled with at like the very beginning of life, before you had a personality. These were the things that you were taught that built the personality to become the first house. These same things Sorry, I'm shuffling. I got a download. But these same things don't really change quickly or like suddenly, even when you become aware of what and a specific like thought process or mentality or like methodology, how you go about things. Even once you come to an awareness of it, of like, oh, that's what that is, or oh, these are the consequences of having this type of mindset or attitude. Even then, like, no one can change it outside of you. It's an internal thing. It's your subconscious in a way. And also, if you don't change it, and with hard aspects to this house, sometimes it can take lifetimes to change certain types of programming, generational curses, things of that nature. It really takes a lot of hard work, and most of the time, like in a period of isolation, like um, hermit mode ism in a way, which is the opposite sign of the Pisces house, the Pisces sign, which is Virgo, the seventh house. They both have this hermit mode mentality where when Pisces goes into hermit mode, it's usually for like emotional recharge. It's to establish boundaries and heal or, feel through things. And it's a very like spacey, dreamy, non-linear, like no boundaries type of place. Like it's a place where Pisces a lot of times go inward to escape from judgment. And then that's another thing. On the 12th house is a lot to do with escapism. And so in talking about, Virgo with that, Virgo has this similar characteristic where they can also, detach and isolate and essentially be a hermit. But the difference is, and Virgos are an earth sign, a lot more analytical, and in that particular sign or house type energy, isolating, going into hermit mode, it's more so for rebuilding from the ground up, analyzing, constructing, critiquing, finding all the physical, rational, and realistic points of a situation. And that's something I feel like anybody with a lot of 12th house influence can like use as a guide to go through a lot of these things. I feel like I'm rambling though, because I definitely did not have any notes or anything for this. INFJ is rambling, y'all. We does this. But with that being said, yeah, because I'm rambling, the 12th house is awesome. It's amazing. It's unknown and foreign, but not in a scary way. It's like stepping outside of yourself to become one with everything, and then feeling within yourself that you are a part of everything. I hope that made sense. I would not be surprised if it doesn't. But with all that being said, hey, my name BeeKayy. I'm actually about to come right back and do this reading. And I hope you come back and stick around with me, because the content is always coming. I was actually on a break for a little bit, going through some things. And I don't know, right now I'm in a period of transformation. Going through a Saturn return, y'all. Pisces for me starts in the 12th house, so I have that, a lot of like subconscious like patterns and programmings that leach into my first house, my personality, my actions, and my appearance, I guess, sometimes. And I'm learning, at this point in my life at 29, a lot of other ways to deal with a lot of things that I've been presented with. Like, recently I'm I've gone through the ups and downs of like financial stability, joblessness. I'm learning to more so connect with people, right? And for me, so I have Aquarius in my 11th house, and Aquarius usually rules the. Did I say 11th house? I have Aquarius in my 12th house. Aquarius usually rules the 11th house, which is dreams, goals, aspirations, your loose but far reaching, like, worldwide connections or human connections, network connections, not like fifth house connections of like, fun friends and, jovial things, not like seventh house connections of like one on one, intimate, like partnerships, not like the eighth house of like behind closed doors partnerships, but more so like those groups of people connections where you identify with a group of people based on, common similarities, but things that aren't so personal to you. Like, hey, we could all be the Capricorn Club, or the curly hair club, or we all play this type of instrument, or we do this, like, it it's a learning, it's an each one teach one type of energy, which I have in the 12th house, right? So for me, a lot of things that I am learning to like alter, grow into, and like course correct, I guess you could say, are matters involving learning, doing services for people based on the knowledge and experience that I have, that, maybe another person, I'm helping someone who doesn't have the same knowledge and experience that I have, but possibly the same wound, right? Teaching another person to stand in their uniqueness and be the genius and, brilliant, bright star that they can be, all of which requires me to have those things within myself of like, I'm brilliant, I'm awesome, I can help people, I have stuff to offer the world, and this and that. And because of Pisces rising, which is also in my 12th house, I have a lot of those like teeter tottering energies of like, do I want to show this? Do I want to associate with these things? Am I showing up how I'm showing up? Do I see within myself, or am actually looking at is it on? Is the red light recording? Do I get the green light? Okay. Well, you know what? I was rambling and my phone overheated. I will be back. Subscribe.